can't hear you guys that well.
Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, we are ready to go. And I just wanted for the record, council on YouTube, it's only showing the participants who are on video. So we currently only see Kathy and Caesar on YouTube. Just that's an FYI. So if you guys would like to be seen, and during roll call, we need to make sure that everyone voices that they're here. So that
Got it.
public sees, you know, if they're viewing on YouTube, they will see who is actually on the screen. And I'm not sure, that's something we'll have to figure out for this next meeting.
So we can say, as long as we say here.
Yes, if you just say your name, this is Manuel, and here, you know, whenever you're going to speak, if you could just say that you're speaking, that would be great.
Thank you.
Okay. So whenever, Gilbert, whenever you're ready to start, I think we're ready.
Yasmina, are you
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Welcome to our regular meeting, Shafter City Council, Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. Call to order at 7 o'clock p.m. Roll call. All council members are present. May I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve agenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Givens and second by Councilmember Prout.
Councilmember Prout,
Prout, yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes, Manuel, yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're moving on to public comments. Do we see anyone? Public comments is open. And Yasmina, is there anyone? At
We
public
do
comment?
not have anyone at the moment, but we did receive an email that I will read at this moment from Ron Nunlist. And this is what he would like to be read during the meeting. Mayor Alvarado and council members, I am writing this letter because for whatever reason, I was not recognized to speak at the last council meeting during the public hearing. Raising fees on anything probably is not the prudent thing to do at this time. The coronavirus, shutting down the detention facility, reduced revenue from sales tax, and the downturn in the oil prices will affect many citizens in our community. All this at the same time when we are trying to encourage developers to build in Shafter. Developers don't absorb the extra costs. They add them to the price of their homes. I know this is probably a planned increase that was set some time ago, but sometimes things happen that can cause a change in plans. Private businesses are taking a bad hit at this time, and I'm sure city revenues will do the same. Maybe the planned increase could be put off for 6 months or a year until we see what the long range effects these incidents have on our community. Let's not do anything that will deter future growth in Shafter. Thank you for your consideration. Respectfully, Ron Nunlist.
All right, thank you very much for that. Is there anyone else? JC?
No, there were no emails received and nothing received to the city clerk.
Okay, public comment is closed. We're moving on to the consent calendar. And may I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
All right, we have a motion. And we have a motion by Mayor Pro Temp Lopez, second by Councilmember Prout.
Councilmember Prout,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes,
and Alvarado.
Yes, moving on to council announcements and reports. we'll start with the Councilmember Prout.
You know, I want to mention that I had a call from KEDC. I mean, we haven't met because of the pandemic, but the call was in regards to the partnership with the County of Kern to develop a economic recovery task force, and wanted to make sure that we had Shafter represented. And so after several calls and all, we do have some representatives from Shafter. One is John Gwen, the other is Bob Meadows, and the other one is Larry Starr. I don't believe they've had a scheduled meeting yet, but we'll see how that all comes about. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, moving, Councilmember Givens.
Sorry, just need to make sure I got unmuted there. No, I'm good at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Garcia.
Yeah, just real quick, want to thank all our city workers, you know, in the front line, the police department, and also all the people, our staff members, and also the ones that are out on the, you know, the public roads and still turning on water, turning off water, and just working as a whole. And also want to thank, I guess, Matt Maldonado and the code enforcer, because the triangle looks really good over there by Mayor Alvarado's house. So, and I see other people really, you know, looks like people are really taking the initiative to care about, you know, some things. So that's it.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, Mayor Pro Temp Lopez.
Well, really nothing too much to report. I just wanted to say thank you to our police department. Had an issue around the corner from my house. Contacted our police department. They were very quick, very prompt response, and very professional. They handled it, and I just want to say thank you to all the men and women on that police department and the great work they're doing along with Chief Zimmerman. Just wanted to say thanks to pretty much all the workers. Everybody is doing that's keeping our city running, all the office staff, everybody in general. Thank you guys. You guys are doing a great job. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you. Yes, I'll pretty much echo that, you know, I just want to say thank you to all the city employees, all to the staff, you know, for their hard work, continuing being in the front lines and keeping our city going forward. Even though we don't see them, but I know they're, you know, at their homes or at the office, or the first responders, you know, they're all out doing, you know, trying to keep our community going forward, which I just want to say thank you. And to all the, you know, to the doctors, urgent cares, and, you know, folks out here as well. That's pretty much on my end as well. And we'll go ahead and move on to the city manager's comments and report, and City Manager Gonzalez.
Certainly, Mayor and Council, just a few items to update you. The budget team has been assembled, and the budget has work documents have been distributed to department directors, and staff is working on that. Because of the situation that we had with the vacancy of the Administrative Services Director and Acting Finance Director Sylvia being busy with the munis conversion and other work, I felt necessary to assemble an external budget team comprised of outside consultants that are experienced in municipal finance. And so that team has been brought on, and we're well underway with the budget, recognizing that we have a June 1st deadline to provide council for the city charter a budget so that we can begin those discussions. And I believe for May 12th, we have our first budget study session with you, which will be providing budget and fiscal policies, as well as general fund overview of the budget. So that's on the May 12th. The county received stimulus monies from the federal government, the CARES funds. They received approximately $157 million. This afternoon, the Board of Supervisors had an item on their agenda to approve the allocation of those funds, of which $20 million was earmarked for the cities. And although they have not definitively decided the methodology that will be applied on how the $20 million will be distributed to the cities, Jim Service, who's currently now the chief operating officer for the county, briefed the city managers that they were applying just a population-based methodology. So we look at that based on the population of chapter, that's approximately 20,000 plus. Our share of that 20 million is approximately $698,000. The downside of those monies is that it has to be spent in compliance with federal criteria and eligible reimbursement guidelines. So it's not free money that the city is going to be receiving. Rather, the city has to submit for reimbursement of those funds. We're still trying to get information from the county as to what those guidelines are and the criteria, but our understanding that it's for costs associated above and beyond the response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So because of that broad definition, as I said, we will be working and we're hoping to meet with the county to get a better definition of what those eligible costs are. The other program that was talked about is the governor's plan to feed the seniors, and working with the county, they reached out to the cities that would be interested in participating. Initially, I considered having us join, but after we learned that what the state is doing is pushing that out to the county, and then the county is going to push this out to the cities. What that means is that the city would have to administer this program. We would have to be the ones responsible to contract with the local restaurants. We would have to do the outreach. We would have to get drivers. We would have to do the background checks on the drivers. And then the city would have to be responsible for the administrative tasks associated with submitting reimbursement to the state and the federal government for our reimbursement. And because it's a reimbursement, the city would have to front those costs associated with the program. So we would have a cash flow problem, and that we would have to be spending the money on the front end and then submitting for reimbursement, and eventually we would get those monies. Because we don't have organizational capacity, we are not participating in that in the program. Oh, and in addition to the federal and state funding, the city would have to contribute a cash contribution of 6% of the overall program, which would be a few $1,000s for the city. So for those reasons is why we're not participating in the food delivery program for the seniors. And based on the data that we received from the county, there would be less than 50 seniors that would be participating in that program. So the cost benefit in terms of the city's capacity to manage and administer the program, it just didn't equate to a lot of benefit in terms of the cash flow issue and the reimbursement concerns. And then the last item is just to give you more of the, inform you that working with staff to put together a communication strategy and community engagement plan. In my short time here with the city, one of my observations is that we can have a more robust community and communication strategy in the community to basically tell our story, to get more information and engage our community with all the good things that the city is doing. Community engagement basically is also doing a two-way dialogue with our residents, seeking input, feedback on how we're doing. And so I'll be working with staff to develop a strategy and a community engagement plan. So more to follow on that, but especially during this time right now, we're dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, getting information out to our businesses, to the community is vital and critical to what we're doing. And so that further, has caused me a concern that we need to have a robust strategy and plan moving forward. So more to follow on that, but that's just more of the FYI to you, Council. And other than that, I just want to say that we continue to work from home. The governor has continued to extend the stay-at-home order, and I think on tonight agenda is related to that local emergency proclamation. So I'll have more of an update on that. But otherwise, Mayor and Council, that concludes my report.
All right, well, thank you very much, City Manager Gonzalez. And we'll go ahead and move on to manager's report. Number one on that is the extending the proclamation of the local emergency regarding novel coronavirus COVID-19.
Certainly. So Mayor and Council, what we're asking you this evening, if you recall, March 17th, you, based on a staff recommendation, adopted a proclamation declaring a local emergency due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you authorized the city emergency service director, in this case the city manager, to take any and all necessary actions in response. That declaration requires, and state law requires, that the city council consider the proclamation every 60 days and to determine whether it's still needed or not. So what we know today is that the order has not been lifted by the governor. That order continues to be in place. And based on the information he's been providing during his press conferences that he has every day, it doesn't seem likely that that order will be lifted. He has laid out a framework and a plan to eventually lift the order, but there's a number of steps that we have to meet in order for him to be at a point that he feels comfortable lifting that order. We do know that this Thursday he's supposed to be, being the governor, is supposed to be issuing further guidelines for the reopening of certain type of businesses that will be allowed to open this Friday. Based on the information we have received, is limited businesses, flower shops, retail businesses for curbside pickup. That's an example of the type of businesses that would be allowed to reopen. But a lot of the other businesses, even offices, will remain closed. And so I have more information on Thursday of what that stage 2 looks like of reopening. Excuse me, I have to cough real quick. Okay, I'm back. And so we are asking council to reauthorize the local proclamation. As of April 29th, we had 847 confirmed deaths. That number continues to rise. And as of today, this afternoon, we were at 1,045 confirmed cases. Now, one of the things that the county public health department, because it exceeded that threshold, I believe it was at 1,000 number of confirmed positive cases, they are now providing information by zip code. So for our zip code 93263, we have a total of 29 confirmed cases. 23 have recovered, and that's as of this afternoon. So we believe, and we are recommending, that there is still a need to maintain emergency powers to continue to respond to the COVID impacts. And we are recommending that the city council extend the proclamation for as long as the date declared by the governor. There is no fiscal impacts to this proposed extension of the declaration. And so we are asking council to adopt Resolution 2715, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Chapter, extending the existence of a local emergency regarding novel coronavirus COVID-19. That concludes our staff report.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, council, if there's any questions from council.
I got a question.
I'm sorry, who's this?
Go ahead, Caesar.
Oh, Caesar,
Hey,
okay.
this Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, I got a question. How long are we extending this for?
Until the further notice, meaning until the governor is to lift the order, which quite honestly right now, we don't have a date.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, this is Marco. The resolution provides that it's until the governor terminates the order or until the city council, whichever one is sooner. However, we need to come back every 60 days to keep affirming it.
Okay,
Thank you, Marco.
Hey, to both of you, this is Chad. To both of you, having this in place prior to him releasing everyone into stage 2, that's the intention behind his plan for the end of this week. Do we need to come back and reconvene? Does this supersede anything, putting us more in a stringent place, or are we still able to follow through with what he has? I know that county, rescinded theirs, and the only reason was they wanted to make sure that they, gave way that when he does lift that first piece of it, that they're clear. Do we need to do anything on our end?
No, so
I don't
so the county the county public health officer is the one who lifted the local public health order. The county still has their declaration of local emergency in place. Our understanding, based on discussions with during our briefings every day with the EOC, is that the state governor's order continues to be in effect. So even if we didn't adopt the extension of the local emergency, we would still have to comply with the governor's order. If you recall, one of the things that Marco and I explained about the adoption of the local declaration is that this gives us additional powers during the crisis in order to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. Furthermore, it allows the city to be eligible to submit for certain reimbursements to the federal, to FEMA and to Cal OES in the event that there's money available for expenses incurred in response to COVID-19. To that end, what we have been doing is tracking any expenses above and beyond our operational needs. In response to that, for example, we've had to do a couple cleanings of City Hall. We've had to incur some other expenses related to PPE. And so those are the type of expenditures that this further gives us the ability to be eligible for reimbursement. Marco, I think you had something to add.
No, that's exactly right. I think you summarized it. For cities, it's really two principal reasons. It's to allow the city's director of emergency services to promulgate rules with very little notice without having to call a special meeting of the city council. There are times, and we've done it here in Chapter, where we've had to act rather quickly on some items, and there just hasn't been enough time to convene a meeting of the city council. Obviously, we report to you as to what those actions have been. And then the second reason is, as Gabriel pointed out, it's to make the city eligible for any FEMA reimbursements.
Thank you.
Just really quick, one more comment, Mayor and Council, is that in terms of the city organization, as I said earlier, we continue to work from home in compliance with the governor's order of social distancing and non-essential function employees to shelter in place. So we continue to be in compliance with that. And most of our employees, other than the essential function employees, have been going into City Hall. So we will continue under that model for the time being. We are, and Carol has established a safety committee, which we've named the Health and Safety Committee, comprised of individuals from all departments. So it's an interdepartmental committee that is comprised of individuals, not necessarily department heads or managers, but line staff to include, and the committee. And they are tasked with putting together, creating a what we're calling safe work or return to work protocol manual. And it'll consist with various safety measures that we will put in place in the workplace in all departments in preparation that eventually we will be allowed to go back to work as the governor continues to expand the reopening and lifting the restrictions on the current shelter-in-place order that is in effect. So we are not sitting idle. We are preparing for that. And our business models, as we knew them before COVID-19, will be different because a lot of the safety measures will require us to continue to practice social distancing, certain hygiene and measures that will require us to limit the number of individuals in our office space, and to continue even our city council meetings. So that was just a little bit of information, additional information of what we are doing as an organization in preparation to eventually return back to work. And with that, nothing further. And as I said, we are asking council to adopt resolution 2715, extending the local emergency declaration.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll make a motion to approve.
I second. Hello, Gilbert.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gilbert, you've got a motion by Givens and a second by Prout.
Gilbert.
Hello?
Hey, Gilbert, yeah. You got
okay.
a motion by Chad and a second by
Okay.
Kathy Prout.
All right. Okay, Yasmina?
Yes.
Hello. We have a motion and a second.
Okay. Councilmember Prout,
Yes.
Givens,
Aye.
Lopez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes. Okay, moving on to well 20, site development project notice of completion and acceptance.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shasta City Council, this is Michael James, Public Works Director. At your April 21st meeting, the City Council authorized acceptance of well 20 site development improvements built just behind the Dad's Barbecue site. During staff presentation at that time, we made you aware that in order to close the project financially, budget action would be required. At that particular time, we didn't have an exact amount to specify. We mentioned that there would be a projected budget shortfall, but we were still tallying invoices, and we told you that we'd come back at a future meeting. Tonight, we're recommending a budget increase of $40,000 to cover the shortfall in that project. The funds, as recommended, would be transferred from a future well treatment project for well 12. Well 12 is located just behind the town square, if you didn't know. That particular well is not in a position to construct just yet. Staff would like the opportunity to talk to you about the feasibility of constructing carbon treatment vessels immediately behind the town square. We suspect there'll be some concerns about the aesthetics of that. And so is perhaps something we could revisit at a future budget or strategic planning session. So regardless of the feasibility of the well 12 project, the well 20 project needs the funds now to close the books on that project. And the well 12 project funds are the most accessible that we can use at this time. So unless there are any questions, I request that the budget transfer detailed in your staff report be authorized.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from council? Okay, hearing none. I'm sorry? All right, can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve as read.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez and second by Councilmember Garcia.
Councilmember Prout,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes. And now moving on to department comments and reports. Is there any department?
Michael James, representing Public Works, would just like to briefly inform the council that in the coming weeks, we plan to perform a traffic study that focuses on reported speeding at and around Veterans Park. This would include Los Angeles Avenue, Schneid Street, Poplar Avenue, and Lerdo Highway. The results of this study could lead to recommendations to add new stop signs, speed limits, and other traffic alterations. So we'll, of course, brief the council as we make progress on this study. I'm referring to it as the West Chapter Traffic Study. And that concludes comments and reports by Public Works.
Okay, is there any other department?
I have a question.
Okay,
Michael,
Councilmember.
do both sides of the street go to the city versus the houses on that south side or in county?
The south side, the homes are in the county. The entire street is in the city.
That's what I asked. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I don't hear any other department, so we're going to go ahead and move on into recess under closed session. Number one on closed session is a threat to public service. Number two is conference with labor negotiators. So may I get a motion to go into recess?
I'll make a motion to go to recess.
Second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, second by Councilmember Garcia to go into closed session. All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
All right.
If you will
Okay.
just bear with me while I put you guys into the breakout room, just one moment.
And just for the benefit of the public, we do not expect any reportable action as to any of the closed session items.
Thank you.
Hello. Think we're just waiting on.
I think you're waiting on Kathy. Where is
I
that?
think we're waiting on Kathy and Marco.
Polo. Okay.
It looks like we're all back.
Hi.
Hello.
Did they all leave?
No, they should be. They're all in the main session now, so whoever's going to report out.
Okay. Mayor, if you like, I can do that. Earlier tonight, the city council recessed into closed session. The items are listed on page 3 of the regular meeting agenda. There were 2 items on tonight's agenda and all members were present. There was threats to public services, and there was also a conference with labor negotiators concerning the groups listed on the agenda. With respect to both items, there is no reportable action. We can now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
So I'll take that as Lopez and Givens.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Gilbert.
There I am. All in
Okay.
favor? Okay. All right, we're adjourned.
All in favor. Aye.
All in favor. Let's clarify.
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you all. Thank you, everyone.
You.
Thank you.